This is Audacity. It has nothing to do with the stream. It should be fine. After I'll stick it to 11 later. It should be fine. But all right. Okay. I maybe I'm not explaining the problem right. Normally, my volume is on one track, and all the sounds are on a different track. I normalize both of them individually, and then give it to you. Now, when I normalize it, it's going to normalize mine and the sounds at the same exact time. So it may throw the sounds off. So you may just have to raise up the volume or whatnot. I don't think there's gonna be a problem for you, but if there is, then we know for next time. All right, everybody hit record. All right, everybody hit record. I am recording. Okay, that was important. You guys are not being picked up on my track. All right, that was what I was really about. All right, we're live on Twitch. 5 seconds of silence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Ricky, Alice, Alias Nolan, Sid, and the Phoenix.
Shuhei. What did I do? Oh, talk about how you got the cut on your tongue? It was a weird text the way you said it. Okay, first of all, I didn't think... Okay. So the way you wrote that text message was weird. I will not be here for that episode. My phone will be off. I'm telling you right now, it is not happening. I'm working on it.
But what we can do, I think Tricky's still working on the 1s and 2s in the background.
Echo remix.
Now you guys are getting an echo?
Yep.
This echo is Tricky's greatest enemy.
I fixed the problem, but fixing the problem, now they can't hear you over the stream. So it's either you guys hear the echo or they can't hear you.
Well, it's probably a blessing if they don't hear me. They might be a little mad about not being able to hear Matt, though.
I'm trying to fix it, gentlemen. Just talk for a few minutes. Let me see if I can figure this out.
This is this episode's snake bit from the beginning. Are you sure that you're worried about 666? You should be worried about 661 because this episode's snake bit.
I feel like he should be worrying about every episode but 666 with the way that this keeps going.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, Dex. I'm trying to figure out why they're now hearing the echo.
Give him hell.
No, he says he can hear you now, you and Matt now, but now you guys have an echo.
Well, no, we have an echo.
That's what I'm saying. You guys have an echo.
Yes.
Fuck you, Dex.
Wow.
No, well, okay,
words.
hold on. Anybody that doesn't know, Dex just said fuck you, Tricky, in the chat, so I'm just responding to him.
Why are you picking on Dex?
All this is probably getting edited out.
Probably.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not.
Keep it in.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not editing that out.
Okay. All right, well, I got bad news. My audio stopped.
Do you want to, Matt, me keep recording and we should pick it up?
Just hold on. You guys keep talking.
All right. Well, obviously, Tricky is continuing with his technical difficulties, which we're hoping are fixed in the back end, or maybe this week, possibly, because I've been helping Tricky with a new computer situation, and we'll see how that goes. But speaking of new computer situation, I had my own situation this week where I had to replace the motherboard on my PC, which again goes back to my comment about PC being superior, because when something breaks, I can go replace it myself. I don't have to wait for Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo to repair the device and send it back to me. Just
some of us aren't smart enough for that, Matt. You don't have to kick us while we're down.
If you could do Lego, you can do a PC.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Legos, Matt, you think I got Lego money?
I don't purport to know what money you do or do not have, Alex.
I'll tell you this much. I mean, I'm all right, but I ain't paying for Legos.
Do you have enough for knockoff Lego?
Yeah, but I'm not going to insult myself by buying knockoff Legos.
Why is that an insult?
I deserve the real thing, Matt.
You do deserve the real thing, but when you can't get the real thing, listen. If you go to a store and you're going for mayo, are you like looking and saying, "Well, there's no Hellmann's on the shelf, so
First
therefore,
of all,
fuck
Matt,
it, I'm not getting mayo"?
I'm insulted that you think that I eat a condiment as disgusting as mayonnaise.
What?
Gross. Mayonnaise is gross as shit.
What?
You heard it right here. Breaking news, everybody. Mayonnaise is disgusting.
Let me guess. You eat Miracle Whip.
No, I don't want sweet mayonnaise. I don't want mayonnaise at all.
Oh are you back in recording, Tricky?
I'm recording.
It's gonna be really awkward.
Yes, I am recording. For the record, I could always just rip the audio from the stream. I'll do that afterwards. Alex, you just got to wait for the audio.
The audio from the stream is shit.
Will you shut up? All right. All right. Just.
All right. Anyways,
time out.
Condiment talk.
All right. Time out. 1 second. Do a countdown with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got it. All right. Back to the show. Dex says first Concord, now Mayo, Alex. What the fuck?
I had nothing to do with Concord. I'll leave all the mayonnaise. You all have all the mayonnaise you want to eat. I just cannot stand that. Look, everyone's got their own condiment or food or whatever they don't like. Mayonnaise is one of those things. I also don't like whole tomatoes. I do not like tomatoes.
Fuck relish.
I love relish, and that's fine. If you don't like relish, that's great. I support you not liking relish, but I love relish. And back to the Lego talk. If I'm not buying the Lego Deku Tree, I ain't buying shit.
You know, I'm sad. I'm packing up the Lego Deku Tree because... so I'm packing up the Lego Deku Tree. I'm packing up the X-Men Mansion. I'm packing up the Super Mario and Yoshi diorama. And I'm packing up the TIE Interceptor because I have no space for those. And hopefully here in the next couple months, V and I will be potentially moving. So...
I'm not helping you move.
Get a place.
I'm not helping you move.
I'm not asking you to help me move.
I love how Matt helps Tricky with his computer, and then Tricky's like, "Fuck you! I'm not helping you move."
Well, so Tricky moved a couple of months back, and it's not like I was out there offering to help him move, even though I'm close. So
and I spent all day today helping a friend move. I'm not doing it again. I can't do it.
No.
Two moves in 2 months, not happening.
Is it because your back hurts? Is it because you're too old to carry lug furniture around up and downstairs?
Well, technically today I didn't pick up anything because I'm actually on doctor restrictions again. So
we don't want to go back into HIPAA. Though if Tricky's divulging his own information, technically that's not a HIPAA violation.
No, he can sing. He can sing to the cows come home with that. He can tell whoever he wants.
Oh my lord!
All right. Anyways, let's get on with the show. It's been long enough arguing about HIPAA and condiments and Lego.
Well, Dex says at least Mayo's still around in reference to Concord.
That is accurate.
Mayo has stood the test of time, regardless of how I hate it.
Tricky, do you have your document up for your trophy counts?
I am level 963, total trophies of 34,180 with 987 platinums. I would have 988 platinums, but I'm a dumbass.
Alex?
So I am a level 518, total trophy count of 10,512, and a platinum count of 108. Did anybody update these trophies?
I did.
Okay. And a platinum count of 188 in 187 games on The Verge. On The Verge. Not that news website. But the precipice, as Ace Ventura would say, of 189 and 188. More to come in like 20 seconds.
And for the sharp-eared listeners, know that Yield's not here with us tonight. He's doing something with his family. And as a result, his updated counts are 525 for his level, 10,927 for his trophies, and 207 for his platinums. I have not done shit in the past 3 weeks, so it doesn't matter. My counts aren't updated. Sid is 892, 27,156 trophies, and 847 platinums. Tricky, it is back.
The echo?
Yes.
Bad?
Distracting enough for me.
I don't know what to do. I didn't change a thing from the time you said it was this.
Mute your microphone. Time since I wasn't here last week. And Alex is absolutely right. I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds beta.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Wait, when does that come out? That comes out this month. But
the 28th.
Ooh, last day of the month.
I have the 28th off, which is a Friday, and I took the 3rd off, which is a Monday, so I can play as much as I can uninterrupted.
You think you're going to be sad that you didn't ask the Tuesday off too?
Tuesday the 4th, I absolutely cannot take off.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Shucks.
In the past, when I didn't have such a specified role at work, I would take entire weeks off for Monster Hunter. But this time, I have something that got put on my plate, and I absolutely cannot not do it. So, unfortunately, I don't get to take off the 4th.
See, Matt, that's what happens when you go for the money and the prestige. You got the important You get those important big boy roles where if you can't do it, no one's going to do it. So
that's basically how it rolled out. So for those of you who don't know, the Monster Hunter beta test got 2 returns, one last week, which I couldn't talk about because I wasn't here, and then one again this week. And actually, due to the PlayStation outage that occurred, Capcom extended the second beta test an extra day, so that way people could be able to get a chance to play it a little bit more. Just basically, I'm taking it through, I'm running it through my system, checking a bunch of different options, seeing what the best configuration is to run it. And I'm getting pretty much average around 60 FPS on the system. Now, that is using NVIDIA DLSS, and it is NVIDIA, not NVIDIA. Just putting that out there. Figured, surprised I haven't yelled at you yet for all of that.
Why you gotta pick on me?
Because I've told you this in the past, it's NVIDIA, not NVIDIA. As I'm playing the demo, it has a number of features into it, including now they put in private lobbies, which allow you to join up with some of your friends. The one thing I will say, Capcom has never been able to do well is making it easy to join your friends. So we're playing with the systems, learning how they work, so we don't have to jump through hoops day one. But we've beaten all of the monsters that are available in the beta, so now I'm just ready and primed for when the game comes out, and I'm going to spend so much time playing that game. It is going to be exciting. I love playing through it. I put hundreds of hours into it. Basically, it's my Division if we're equating it with Tricky, but Tricky obviously puts a lot more hours in the Division. I tend to move on to other games.
So, Matt, I need to know, how hard was Anubis? You did fight Anubis, right, in this game? He's one of the monsters, right?
No.
Well, shit. Next question.
Next question.
Epic fail.
What was the... Come on, Tricky. I've always got to ask about my boy Anubis. I don't care. I don't care what the situation is. What's up with Anubis? What was your favorite monster from the beta?
It's tough because the 2 hardest monsters are they're new ones to the series. One's called Ray Dow, and it's basically a lightning wyvern. It's called the railgun wyvern because he's got these 2 giant horns that he aims them in front of his face and just smacks you with lightning.
That's the way it always goes.
And then the new flagship monster, Arkveld, which has these giant chains on his wings, and it like slams it down, does elemental damage. They call it the White Wraith, which is in the quest. It's called Chained Arkveld, which makes us all think that there's an unchained version, which is going to be insane. But for those of you who don't know, with the Monster Hunter series, you get a limited amount of time and a number of feints that you get to complete the quest. The advanced quest for all these demos always gives you like 20 minutes, which is not a lot of time. So we're out there learning, my friends and I playing it, trying to figure out the best way to do it. We beat it at 19 minutes and 45 seconds. So we just got it by the skin of our teeth. And there's people out there speed running them, doing them in 8 minutes, 7 minutes. It's crazy. People.
Matt, you need to make friends with those people. Be like, hey, what's up, guys?
The only thing that's unsatisfying about the beta is, except for your character creation, nothing is carrying over to the main game. And generally after you kill monsters or capture monsters, you're carving parts out of them, you're collecting things out in the wild, and it's all kind of meaningless in the beta. So I'm really using it as a way to fine-tune my PC and make sure that it's up to snuff when it comes time for the real game. So excited for that coming out at the end of the month. Expect to hear much, much more about it when it comes out. Also put some more time into Origami 2, the stealth ninja, spirit ninja action-adventure game. Just playing a couple additional missions with my friends while we had the time. Also put more time into Helldivers 2. Have you put any more in over the last couple days, Alex?
I have not. I've completed the previous Warbond, and I haven't started the newest one. I need to get to that. But I haven't been able to. I haven't actually been able to play really much aside from the main game I've been playing. Pouring time into that, just trying to get done with it so I can go play me some Tales of Iron 2.
Okay. Do you know that are you aware of the changes they made to certain bugs?
Matt, are you about to piss me off?
I'm not going to piss you off if you tell me no spoilers.
No spoilers.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Certainly doesn't give a shit. Tricky certainly doesn't give a crap.
Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So they've made a couple changes to some of the bugs, including stalkers, hunters, and bile titans. The stalkers, the invisible guys,
the assholes,
now can appear in the overworld without a stalker nest. They are called predators. They are more aggressive. They do not turn invisible, but they can just show up.
Why?
Because fuck you, that's why. That's what Joel said. Hunters now have an invisible variant. So, ain't that fun?
I'll say this right now. I have always rather fought the automatons than the fucking terminids. You know what? I understand why people like fighting the bugs. You got the whole Starship Troopers vibe going on, and the bugs are like, they're cool, but the bugs are so, like, they chase you to an annoying degree, and they're always on your ass. They're always on your fucking tail, and they overwhelm you. Whereas, like, yeah, the automatons are more long range, but I can deal with those much easier. At this point, to me, the Terminids have always been harder to fight because they're just all up on your ass.
And now here's the fun part. You know those bug holes that you love to close?
I do love closing those bug holes, Matt.
You're going to need heavy ordnance because they now have Titan bug holes.
Like Bile Titans come out?
Like Bile Titans come out of them.
It's like someone reached down from the sky and ripped the earth open a new butthole.
Yes, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
well, so did they just change the bugs, or they changed the automatons too?
Nope, just the bugs for now.
They're like, we'll see how much you all like fighting the bugs.
I think that's really how it went.
Honestly, the stalkers, like, at least with the ones that appear, the predators, the ones that appear just on the map, they don't keep coming out of a fucking nest. So, like, those are at least somewhat limited. But, like, the hunters, super fucking annoying, and they're invisible. That's almost worse. That's like the worst shit.
Yeah, I am not excited. So playing against them, normally you can kind of see them at the corner of your eye, but now they're invisible and they swarm. It's not good.
So I gotta ask, like, do they show up on all difficulties or just certain ones?
All difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well,
So hold on. We were playing on level 7, so I know that they were there. I haven't played on the lower difficulties to do it, at least not with bugs, because we also found a guide for super credit farming runs.
ooh.
Where I think you play on level 1. You drop in with as many people as possible. You all drop in with recon vehicles. You drop in with jetpacks. You drop in with the laser, not the quasar, the cannon laser.
You mean the orbital laser, or
No, not the orbital laser.
So you're talking
cannon.
a secondary weapon.
Yes, because you can use that to open those canisters to search for super credits. And what you do is you all just spread out until you find 9, 10, 11 points of interest. Super credits can appear in bunkers, in dropped drones, and then the underground containers. Those are the only 3. If you see anything else, you ignore it and you just run. We got probably a good 200 super credits over about 2 hours. So, not a bad run. And then as soon as you find your points of interest or all the ones that you care about, you abandon mission and then you rinse repeat. You go back, you find a map with no water, just like a circle out there, and rinse repeat, and we got enough.
All right.
So it was a pretty decent run. And also a trick we learned from the video is if you are in front of a buddy bunker and you go prone and then use just like a regular gun and do first-person view, sometimes it allows you to clip through the door to see what's in there. You can't get in there, but you can clip through to see if there's credits or not. So if you're if you're with your friends, you know whether or not you need to go in. And if you're by yourself and you see 2 stacks of super credits like my friends did, you can cry yourself to sleep or call in an SOS. So that's the fun we had on Helldivers. And then the final game I've been playing was Metaphor ReFantazia, made by the same people who made Persona. And
Game of the Year nominee.
Yeah.
2024.
It was and I'll tell you, the school setting of Persona never interested me, but since this is like a pure fantasy setting, it definitely has more to it. I've put about like 2 hours into it, so I've gotten through some of the basics, gotten what they call the architecture, which is like your summons, the things that you can be to fight monsters. And I'm having fun. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck, and I'll continue along with it. But that's all I've been playing. Alex, you want to go into what you've been doing while Tricky stepped away?
Sure can. I'm not going to get into it super deep this week because obviously this will be the 4th week of me talking about Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, which, I've said a lot about that game, so I'll just, finish up here round it out by saying almost at the Platinum Trophy, got one more trophy to get, which should take me roughly, anywhere between an hour and 2 hours, but 67 hours put into this game according to the media bar on the PlayStation 5. Don't know how accurate that is, but when I read the trophy guide for this on PlayStationTrophies.org, it was like 25 to 50 hours, which is a fucking lie. This game, and maybe it's with all the Assassin's Creed games, but this was like wildly under estimated as to what the time to take to beat this game was, because it's not like I'm doing like a bunch of just random fucking around that I don't need to do. Like all the shit that I've done in the game I had to do. So close to the Platinum Trophy in that, and I would be grateful to be done because after playing so much of this game, I feel like I've been done twice. The one thing I will say, and I will end on a positive note, is that with the Assassin's Creed series, I do always appreciate how not everything is not everything in the game is historically accurate. The games are inspired by historical events and people and places as well. But I do appreciate when they include historical figures into the series, as well as places. I mean, the locations are a big part of it. Like if you're excited for Assassin's Creed Origins, you probably want to play because it's ancient Egypt. If you're excited about Odyssey, it's probably because you want to go to ancient Greece. So the settings and the people, like in this game, Ben Franklin is a character in the game. So, you get to see a lot of, I think Charles Darwin was one of the characters. Was it Darwin? The Assassin's Creed Syndicate had had quite a few people, but I think Darwin might have been one of them. But I do appreciate how they incorporate the historical figures in there, as well as the final act, or I guess the final mission in the Assassin's Creed games that I've played recently. And I can't remember exactly how Syndicate unfolded, unfortunately. But in Origins, there is a massive scene that has to do with the Ides of March. If you know, you know. So that game has one of the more memorable endings of the series, of all the games that I've played.
I've been told to beware the Ides of March.
Yeah. Well, if you're one, Mr. Julius, you definitely want to beware the Ides of March. But this game, you end up at the Palace of Versailles, and you're hunting down a specific person, and it was just a really cool setting, a really cool way to end the game. At one point in this game, I kind of felt like every mission, because you turned on the assassins, was just like one mission, you're going after one assassin, the next mission you're going after another assassin, and it's just kind of like every new mission is just you chasing another assassin and killing the assassin. I feel like, again, while the series overall has gotten better, what has gotten lost is just building up to the assassinations. I feel like they're just kind of at this point, in a way, throwaway. I just don't feel like they feel as important as they used to. But going to the Palace of Versailles, it was a nice ending to the game. It was a good way to wrap up the game, and I just kind of wish there was more elements of that, like the stories and the places, and you are here in the specific place and you got to do this, as opposed to the just travel around to these uncharted areas and just go to a viewpoint, synchronized, view all the collectibles, run to this spot, grab this, run to this spot, grab this, run to this spot, grab this, and then get on your boat and go to another one. Less of that and just more of the people and the places. I really think would have made this game definitely a lot more palatable. Not saying it's a bad game, just when you've done so much hunting for just side quests and collectibles. It kind of kills your vibe for the game, if that makes any sense. So, but gonna put a bow on that and move on to the next game, which will likely be Tales of Iron 2. Because you know how much I love the first game. This is a little doozy.
Remind me which one Tales of Iron is, because I feel like I thought I knew what it was, but I can't remember. The one where like you're the Rat Kingdom and the toads and frogs come attack, and like it's like a side-scrolling, like almost like Soulsborne game in like the difficulty of the combat, kind of. Is it like a cartoonish aesthetic? Yeah. Okay, I think I remember what it was. But also bloody, quite bloody. Yes, that I remember. Yeah, it's almost like kind of like Game of Thrones in a way, but with like rats and frogs. But it was a game we got free for PlayStation Plus, and even though I would have had to have bought the DLC. But no, I'm glad I get to support the developers by buying the sequel, because I'm not going to wait for this one to come to PlayStation Plus. I'm going to buy it, because that's what we do. We support our developers. Remember, people, support your developers. Don't buy a game, beat it in under an hour, and then refund it on Steam. Yeah, Matt would never do that to help Alex get a platinum trophy. To be fair, though, I said on Steam. I didn't say Epic. Fuck Epic. To be fair, though, I bought that game, and I also bought some of the DLC, so I'm doing the workout here for you, Matt. I'm pitching in for you. Nice. That game would be Gigabash for anyone. Hey, you know what? We'll give a plug to the game. Gigabash, folks. If you like giant monster battle royales, go check out Gigabash. Revive the game. They're still putting out DLC. They're still putting out DLC. Hashtag revive Gigabash. Tricky. So you're back.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
Well, I just had to play catch the tent that was in the backyard of the front yard. That's fun.
It is definitely windy enough out there.
Well, first I want to send a torpedo to Mr. Jeff Hanna. If you guys will look in your Skype chat, Jeff Hanna just sent me a picture while we were recording. No words, just a picture.
Spider?
No. Worse.
Do you want pictures of spiders?
Chicago deep dish pizza.
So he's having a casserole.
So, okay. I'm going to jump in here real quick. Because, Tricky, you'll be happy to know.
Oh, boy.
Monster Hunter Wilds has an arachnophobia filter.
Okay, that's cool, but I'm still not playing it.
It just doesn't work on the giant spiders.
It doesn't work on the giant ones.
Yeah, it works on the little ones.
I was waiting for like a giant Goma, like Queen Goma boss, where it's like you just walk into somewhere and then all of a sudden there's a spider on the ceiling above you.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is in Wilds.
Why do you got to do that to me, Alex?
What the hell did I do? I didn't send you a picture of a spider.
No, but
or Chicago deep dish pizza.
You just described one of my worst nightmares. All right, anyway.
Real question here, Tricky, and not about spiders.
Yes.
So which version of the jumping pizza did you platinum this week for easy cheap points?
I don't think I did a jumping pizza.
Uh-oh.
I don't know which one I did.
Points?
I got the bonus points. I just don't remember what game it was. Hold on. I got to look it up. My profile. Was it
the scattering spider?
No, it was the football A. I went with the Super Bowl team.
What?
The football A.
How do you play that game? What is that game?
You literally just hold down the R1 button until you get to 9,000, and then you get a trophy, platinum.
Matt, I hope you're as disgusted as I am.
By earning trophies, yes, I'm always disgusted.
Fair enough.
So I played a little Helldivers. Actually, no.
Didn't tell me.
That was no, sorry, that was last week. The only thing I played all week was Division, because the season finale came out. I beat the mission, but went back on Master, and then we failed right before the boss fight where there's a checkpoint because some jackwagon didn't understand that there's mechanics to the fight on Master difficulty. And
you don't have to shit talk Leroy Jenkins.
And he kept pressing the wrong button and made the room flood and killed us all and sent us all back to the beginning. Because he wouldn't listen to us when we told him, stop pressing the fucking buttons.
So wait, hold on. You didn't get to the checkpoint?
No. Literally, we were 3 seconds away from getting the checkpoint, and this douchebag kept pressing the same button.
Haven't you beaten that boss like 10,000 times before, though?
No, this is a brand new mission.
Oh, okay.
Well, I take that back. It's the mission's the same. The actual going through it has been changed up significantly. So every time they do a climax mission, which is the last mission of the year of the season, they always change it up in a way. The enemies spawn different ways. They're a little bit more spongier. They have different mechanics and stuff like that. So it's always a challenge to do it. This particular one was, they changed up the mechanics, but then with master difficulty, everything was +1. So, like, say you had to hit 2 computers on heroic difficulty. On master difficulty, you had to hit 3 or 4. In the normal mission, if you had to open up valves in a certain order, the number was always the same, and the locations of the valves were the same. On master difficulty, not only did they change the number of the valves, but they also changed up the sequence. So it was just a pain in the ass. Like, you had to know what you were doing. And when people play and they don't have microphones, it's a little hard to communicate. I got the platinum in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I would have my second platinum because I got it on the PS4, but I screwed up. So
you cheated for the 10-year?
Yeah, on both of them. But so there's a trophy in the game, Matt, or achievement in the game for you. I don't know if you're aware of, but it's called Commitment.
Where you burn the baby?
No, I did burn the baby. Commitment is you have to play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. So I got the PlayStation 5 version of it just by letting it run all day Tuesday. This one, I wanted to get the platinum before this weekend, so what I did was I turned my PlayStation 5 on, turned off the internet, and I manually set the clock. And when I manually set the clock, I changed the date to Tuesday at 23:58, so I had enough time to change the clock, get in the game, boot it up, and just leave it on the pause screen. Well, my dumbass set the clock for Tuesday. So for the last 24 hours, it's been running all day on a Wednesday. Because I didn't realize that in 2 minutes after I set the clock, it was going to change the date. So now it's currently running now. So in 23 hours now, I'll have the platinum. So, yeah, I'm a dumbass. Didn't think ahead. Hi, V.
When you try to beat the system.
If you're gonna cheat, be smart about it.
Well, as I said to you guys in the group chat, actually, no, Matt, I don't think you were in that group chat. We gotta get Matt in the other group chat, Alex.
I have too many group chats. You don't need to do anything.
No, Matt, if we're gonna suffer, you gotta suffer too.
Just gonna leave it.
Not a text chat. Can't leave a text chat.
Amazing how much block numbers don't get through.
Anyway, so I've been playing that, and then Division. And then my bonus points game. But that's all I've been playing. But Matt, I don't know. Did you talk about what you're playing yet? Because we kind of skipped over a section of the show.
I did it, and that's why I wanted to circle back, give you time for when you got back. So trophy rarity contest updates.
Yes. So Garrett sent me the information. The highest score in Division 1 is Rick with 86. The highest score in Division 2 overall was Doc Chicken with 137. He leads the way in Division 2. MZ is the top of Division 1, but only 7 points ahead of Rick. So MZ has taken first place over Rick in Division 1. That's pretty impressive there, MZ. Yield had 32 points this week and stays in fourth place at 438 points total. Alex, you got 17 points this week and moved up to 134 points. I got 27 points this week, and I have moving up to 124 points total. So, Alex, we both stayed in 13th, 14th, but I gained 10 points on you.
All right. Well, I mean, picking an Assassin's Creed game was not the best game to play during a rarity event. One, because the trophies aren't super rare, but also two, because it takes forever to get them. So, don't worry, I'll be playing smaller games from here on out.
Well, I got some games I'm going to be playing too, but my time to play video games is coming to an end, as I'm officially going back to work as of Tuesday. So I'll have a lot less time to play video games.
I'm sure somewhere someone's playing the world's smallest violin for you.
Yes. I mean, I'm just...
After your 6-month fucking vacation.
It just means I got to bring my PlayStation to work now, so I can play on my downtime.
Or maybe you just bring your Portal.
There's no internet at work.
Got a phone, right?
Yeah, but I blow through my hotspot real quick on the Portal. But that is an option. Rarest trophies of the week. Doc Chicken got in Boggle 2, or Boggle. Ebsy got it in Deep Rock Galactic. Yield got it in Red Faction Gorilla. Pee-wee got it in Call of Duty World War II. And Rick and Gaz, Joint got it in Resogun and The Forest. Shout out to Plats of the Week. Rick with The Forest. Marky Frazier with Ticket to Ride. Yield with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Me Goatsalot with The Outer Worlds. Waterfields 1 with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Diego with Awaken Astral Blade. Gaz with Resogun. That's impressive. Myself with Staley Parable. Doc Chicken with Stubble Guys. Psychiatrist with Killer Frequency. Dodge Williams with Battlefield Hardline. Nightmare 317 with Anna Mutatium. I probably just butchered that. Roll on the floor, laughing. I'm not saying the whole name. Among Us. The Grounded Gamer and Police Simulator Patrol Officers. Hellfire with Stellar Blade and Astro's Playroom. And then that's it. That's where we stand on the rarity.
Yeah, as someone who has earned the Resogun Platinum Trophy, it is quite the achievement there, Gaz.
Welcome into the chat, Channel 3. I see you lurking there.
I forget why I didn't get the Resogun one. Was this like...
I don't know.
Was it like
It's not easy.
Was there like a... I don't want to say like a... super hard trophy, but wasn't it like a trophy that was like real tricky to get?
Yeah, there's probably more than one. I don't remember exactly. It's been a few years since I platinumed it, but it was you had to have some intestinal fortitude, some determination to get that one. It's not just go shoot stuff, beat the levels, and you're gonna get the platinum trophy. Like you had to put some serious. You were gonna take some battle scars, and you were gonna have some pushback, but you had to fight your way through it to get that one.
Oh, I think it was complete arcade mode without losing all your lives on experience difficulty. I think that's the one it was.
There's also, they released quite a few DLC packs for that game, and I got the platinum trophy, but I did not 100% that game because some of those DLC trophies are a real bear.
Yeah,
Good game though, really good game.
I mean, some of these trophies I can go back and get, like kill 100 enemies during overdrive, complete a level on master difficulty. Complete all the levels on veteran and experienced. But there's a lot of DLC trophies I didn't know existed.
Yep.
Don't tell Alex. He'll have to go back and get them now.
You know what else exists? News. We got a couple different news articles to cover over this week. So, kind of blow through some of these. One of these, which Tricky did not cover last week, though I had it in the notes. He says it was so that he can cover it this week with me on the show. I think he just didn't want to cover it alone.
Damn, he found me out.
That is, the Switch 2 price will consider the affordability customers expect from Nintendo, says their president. Coming from Video Game Chronicles, written by Chris Scullion. Basically, this is just saying Shintaro Furukawa, who's the president of Nintendo, just said that, despite Japan's general increased inflation, as well as taking other things into account, he didn't say anything specific about the Switch 2's price, but they had no intention of changing the current Switch's prices either. And with that they're going to price the Switch 2 as a generally affordable item that people have come to know and expect from Nintendo. I still don't know what that actually means. I'm thinking the system's probably going to be max $450. I don't know. What do you think, Alex? What price do you think Nintendo's going to try to shaft us with?
I don't think they're going to go the 50. I think it's going to be
just the 4.
It's going to be hundreds. Yeah, they're going to go by hundreds. 300, 400. I mean, they may do sales or promotions, or maybe, a price drop or a pack-in title that it gets into that 50 range, like a 550 or 450 or whatever. But I think when it comes to the price of the console itself, the base model, it's always going to go by hundreds. I think Sony and Microsoft would mess with that. I don't think Nintendo will.
Okay. Especially if they only have one model. There's rumors of a pack-in with the new Mario Kart, so we'll see how that changes things.
I would be surprised. Now, I will say that if like a year, 2 years down the road, they packed it in, I can completely understand that. But they're going to want to sell that thing right off the bat because the pack-in title is supposed to help you. It's supposed to be enticing to help you buy the console. No, they're not going to have to entice anybody to buy a Switch 2 and sell like crazy. So the first year, you just sell the console. Maybe the second year, you do the same thing. But by the third year, you throw in the pack-in title for the holidays, and you really start to get people going because they're going to want to sell. Mario Kart's one of their best-selling games, if not their best-selling game. So they're going to want that to stand on its own for a bit without packing it in.
Okay. Tricky, are you a Switch 2 launch enthusiast, or are you going to wait a while?
I'm going to wait forever.
Wow.
What if it has trophies?
No. Listen, I'm not hating on Nintendo. It's just I came to the realization that I have a Switch now, and I haven't used it in probably 2 years.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. Listen, I talk about the Xbox and how I haven't turned on the Series X in months, years at this point. So I'm definitely thinking, if the next Xbox comes out, whether I need it or not.
I will say this. One thing I think that has really killed any time that I would put towards a Switch is PlayStation Plus. Having access to a lot of games and like wanting to use the subscription, that was paid for, I think that really, and me trying new games I wouldn't necessarily buy or spend money on, but hey, if it's I've got access to it for free or as part of a subscription, I think that really has limited my time on the Switch because there have been some games on Nintendo games that I would have bought had I not, I still haven't played Luigi's Mansion 2. So, I mean, I think, these catalog subscription games, like that's, eaten into what I could be playing elsewhere.
How about this, Alex? What if they announce with Switch 2 at launch is an Ocarina of Time remake?
Day one. Not even day one. It's like the Usos. Day one. Day 0.5. I'm there.
Day one-ish?
No, I just said not day one-ish. Day one.
All right.
You don't want to get me on a rant about this because I will go on. I just don't understand how they know how much that game would sell. They know how much it would sell.
I make no promises or even think that this is rumor. I'm just putting this out there as a hypothetical.
Matt, how dare you, knowing how much I want that to happen?
What if they put the Switch 2 out and it has the Ocarina of Time 3D version, just no 3D?
What?
It's the Ocarina of Time 3D that was on the 3DS. There's just no 3D to it.
I ain't buying that. No. I'm not. I don't want to play the old graphics. I did that once. I cannot play the N64 graphics again.
So you admit that they weren't that great?
I mean, for their time, they were revolutionary.
Got him! Got him!
Hold on. When did I ever say the N64 had great graphics?
Got him!
There's many out there who do.
I don't.
I'm not saying you are one of them. I'm just saying.
I think
this is also a secret jab at Ray from Channel 3 who hails it as the greatest time of all time.
I think GoldenEye looks like dog shit these days.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
Again, it's old technology. What are you going to do? But when we were kids, when that Dreamcast came out and you saw that as graphics compared to the N64, you're like, oh man, this Dreamcast thing is pretty special.
Next article, Astro Bot, 5 new levels and special bots begin rolling out. Coming from the PS blog, Nicholas Doucette. Basically, by the time you're listening, it's the first, if not, the first 1 or 2 levels will have been out. I think just one. So basically, every week starting February 13th, new level will be introduced every week, and this will include special bots on Thursdays at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And also, PS5 Pro owners will also get to enjoy an improved version with the best resolution mode, which will keep the best resolution running at 60 frames at all times. Glad to see you have to buy a $750 console to do that. Once you beat the level, it will unlock the time attack mode, which, is a great way to challenge your friends. Alex, you going to try any of these Astro Bot levels?
He has to buy Astro Bot
Here's
first.
the thing about that.
He has to
How
buy
do
the
we
game
own
first.
Astro Bot first?
Noted. Tricky. Are you going to try any of these secret levels?
Yes, I'll do them all, as long as they don't involve that stupid monkey power-up. Worst power-up in the history of video games.
Here you go, Team Asobi. Make sure all of them have the monkey paws.
I'm sure we can think of a worse power-up in video games.
No. That is absolutely the worst.
I will say this. I'm glad Team Asobi keeps supporting this game. It's a wonderful game. Everybody who owns a PlayStation should own it. And regardless whether you like it or not. Don't care. You should own it. Happy to see. I'm interested to see what special bots they keep adding to the game.
It'd be cool if they added bots that we haven't seen yet. And by that I mean they've got a new character coming out, a new game. Someone's working on something and they release the bot in Astro Bot before we see the full character for the game.
That'd be cool. I'd like that. That'd be a neat Easter egg.
Yeah, or if Naughty Dog's new game, Interstellar, they the main character from that becomes a bot in Astro Bot before the game ever comes out.
That would be funny. All right. What's not funny is Xbox sales hit rock bottom after historic 2024 decline. Coming from 9meters.com, Devontae Lee. Basically, 2024 marks the worst year of sales for Xbox console in that they only sold 2.7 million units in the U.S. market. That was less than 2023's, and some of the reasons that they cite were lack of games, too much focus on Game Pass, and PlayStation and Nintendo competition continues to be strong. So, Tricky, I heard you some coughing going on.
Yeah, I had a nasty cough there. I'm sorry. There's just no way I'm going to do this without coming off like a Sony pony and everything. But have we not been saying this for flipping years, that they need to put out games, that Xbox has no games, that there's no reason to buy a console anymore because you could just play all these games on the PC? They did this to themselves. Their whole market of saying every game that we release on the Xbox is also coming out on the PC makes buying an Xbox XS, whatever, pointless because you don't need it anymore. Most people...
Again, there are a lot of people who don't want to deal with a PC and what it takes to own and upgrade a PC. So a console's just easier.
Granted, but there are arguably enough people out there that have good enough PCs where they're going to go, I'm going to spend my money on a PC because not only can I play PC games, I can also play Xbox games. And now the appeal of getting a PC is getting even better because now PlayStation's putting their games on PC. So soon it's going to...
they even work.
Well,
yeah, I was going to jump in there because Spider-Man 2 had a shit launch.
Did it?
The optimization on that game was not great.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Sony's putting select games up there. Xbox is putting their games up there day and date, and that is the problem. There's no reason why people are going to buy a console anymore when they could just play their games on a PC. Now,
it's a problem for console sales, yes.
Now, that's what they're saying. It was the worst year in console sales for the Xbox. So that's what we're talking about. Is 2.7 million over the course of a year? That's a horrible number. But Xbox did that to themselves.
And let's not forget that they had, granted it was at the end of the year, but they had one of their better, I think, ever reviewed Xbox Series games in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle come out at the end of last year. So
Yeah, and on top of that, not to try to pile on here, but before that game even launched, they announced, oh, it is coming to the PS5. So I mean, you're already saying not only is the game coming out for the Xbox, but oh, it's coming out for PC, and if you want to wait a month or two, it's going to come out for the PlayStation 5. So even if they were thinking that Indiana Jones could be a system seller, they shot themselves in the foot.
I don't know. I think the enthusiasm around the Xbox is just fucking withering in general. PlayStation, I mean, granted, the people who buy PlayStation, there is a certain passion there that people are tied to the PlayStation in ways that people who buy Microsoft's consoles just never are. I mean, PlayStation, I feel like, has actual brand loyalty. And I feel like the Xbox is just like mercenaries, people who will move in between consoles based on what the consoles offer. Whereas like the people who buy PlayStations are going to buy them nearly every single round, every single generation. I just don't feel like Xbox has that kind of loyalty from their user base.
I mean, now let me ask you a question. And again, I'm not trying to dig. Do you think Microsoft is being loyal to their gamers?
In what way? I mean, because honestly, this may sound weird, but to me, like a loyalty to your brand and doing what's best for your brand is also a loyalty to your consumers, because making your brand the best it can be.
But they're putting their games on PC day and date, and now they're bringing their games even over to the PlayStation. So
they've done that for a while. They put games on PC for the longest time.
Right, but now you're bringing your games over to the PlayStation. You're basically saying, in no uncertain terms, there's no reason to buy our console anymore.
Yeah,
you can play.
They're only bringing some games. They're not bringing all games.
Granted,
here's the other thing to think about. Maybe Xbox isn't counting on console sales, because if they're putting games on PC and people are buying Game Pass on PC, that's free money in their pocket. They didn't have to put out a console to get that person in their ecosystem.
But Matt, let me ask you this. Do you think that whole there's no future for consoles is kind of a fallacy? Like, it's just kind of like smoke and mirrors, because look at the sales of Nintendo Switch. It's a console.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Xbox is focusing on putting out a console that will sell Game Pass, because their entire "this is an Xbox" thing is just more on the line of get Game Pass, and no matter what you have, you can play. Because I think they're betting on being able to sell more Game Pass than a console, because they want somebody to buy the controller and a network box, so they don't have to worry as much about the power of a system in the future.
okay, so let me ask Matt this question more than, and I mean, I care about Alex's opinion too, but Matt, I think this more applies to you. Do you think the Switch sales would be where they were if Nintendo was putting their games on PC where somebody could play it on their Steam Deck?
Well, that's getting into game sales.
Well,
that's not necessarily console sales.
Well, I'm saying if somebody could buy a Steam Deck and play Nintendo games the same way that they could buy a Switch and play their games on the go, is what I'm trying to equivalent. If you could buy their games and play it on the Steam Deck and have a Nintendo games on the go, do you think that would negate how many Switches being sold? Because somebody's going to go, well, I could buy a Steam Deck, play PC games and Nintendo on the go, where now the only way to play Nintendo is to buy a Switch. Do you think that would have affected sales if Nintendo opened that gate?
Yeah, I do. I do think that would affect Switch sales.
So I got another question for both of you.
Well, hold on. Before you ask the question, Alice, what do you think?
Would it affect Switch sales if they put their games elsewhere?
Do you think Switch would be on the verge of passing PS2 in lifetime sales if Nintendo had made the decision, like Microsoft, to put their games on the PC and to have people to be able to go and play their games on the go with the Steam Deck?
I mean, no, it probably wouldn't.
Do you think the Switch would still sell the same way?
Well, I do think the Switch would probably still sell really well because it is the more affordable option. You know, it's the Steam Deck for the higher end models is more expensive. So, and so to some degree, again, Nintendo does have brand loyalty. It would hurt the sales some, but I mean, they would still sell a lot. I don't think that they would get up to where they are now if their games were available elsewhere.
Okay. And what was your question? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
So to both of you all, is Microsoft making this jump too soon? Because the whole like no console, you play on the web thing, you play in the cloud, are people really ready for that? Because here's the thing, we all know that PlayStation Plus subscriber, I don't buy physical games anymore. I buy them online, download them, but I still like to have the box on my entertainment center. I still like to have the console itself. So is Microsoft maybe in the future, but just going too early?
I think it really boils down to the location of the gamer. Because us that live in major cities, I think the infrastructure's there to support cloud streaming and all that stuff. I don't think somebody like, well, you know what? Dex just jumped in the chat. He says most infrastructure still to this day aren't ready for cloud gaming. Australia is, for example, the Midwest, not the Midwest, but the the middle of the United States, where internet's not that. I don't want to say readily available, but it's not as strong. And then you got places like Australia, like Dex points out. I'm not saying that Microsoft. I don't want to say Microsoft jumped the gun, but because there are people that are ready for it. I mean, there's places now that have fiber internet. I don't even know if they offer fiber internet in New York yet. Do they? I don't see it advertised or anything.
I don't know. I don't live in New York.
Well, you live close enough to New York. Jurassic Park, he says, UK isn't anywhere near. Most places still don't have super fast internet. Yeah, in the UK, I believe you have to like. There's a limit on how much you could download in a month, right? Or you have to pay like heavy fines if you go over that limit.
That depends on the provider.
Oh, I thought that was like I don't want to say federal because I don't know if federal would apply to UK, but I thought that was like a government thing. Like there's a government restriction on how fast internet could be. And I could be 100% wrong.
And I've always attributed or subscribed to the fact that internet caps are bullshit.
I believe so too. But to answer your question, Alice, I don't want to say Microsoft jumped the gun, but I do believe there are significant parts of Earth that are not ready.
Matt, what about you? Do you think Microsoft's moving too fast? Are people ready to just game in the cloud?
No, cloud gaming is just a portion of it. But let's call Game Pass what it is. It's Blockbuster for games. It's meant to give you quick access to a multitude of games to play at a relatively low price. Is $20 a month too much for what Game Pass now offers? I don't know. Obviously, I don't pay for it anymore because, frankly, I felt the opposite in that it gave you way too much to play for the time that I have as a working adult. So there's a couple different strategies. And yes, Dex, I know how Blockbuster turned out, but I felt that was more the media than, or I should say the medium, than the model, because they did move to a pay one price to rent X amount per month. Because all Game Passes, all PlayStation Pluses, other than giving you multiplayer capabilities, which is utterly bullshit, is a rental service for games. And that's really where they're hammering home on. The question Alex poses, did they jump too much? Did they put all their eggs into the cloud gaming basket? I still think they've got their foot squarely in the download to play, install to play framework, whereas cloud is just kind of like a plus. It's like VR. It's still an early concept, all things considered. So I don't think they're pushing cloud gaming as hard. I with the exception of certain, like Samsung TVs, for instance, is what they're focusing on. What their problem is, hold on one second. I gotta mute Tricky. Tricky, you have been muted. I gotta wait for him to put his earphones in. The problem with Xbox is they're hoping people buy their consoles to subscribe to Game Pass, when in reality, like Tricky was saying, if you have a PC, you can get Game Pass just as easily. So I don't think they're counting on cloud gaming. I think that's still to come down the line. But their entire process is to get you into their ecosystem via a subscription service. That's where they've put their money. Tricky, you've been muted because I was getting more echoes.
10-4.
I think we've spent enough time to bore our listeners with our discussion on Xbox games.
Did you catch up on the chat?
It's just an interesting article to bring up. Next up, I call this...
Hold on, sorry. Before you go, did you catch up on the chat?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
This is what I'm dubbing Sad Gaming News Corner. Somebody play a what or something like that. What? Because I've got a trio of articles here. Exactly. There you go. Clip that, Tricky, and make that into a recordable.
Alex, do that during your edit. Give me that little clip.
I'm not doing shit.
Cover this rapid fire. Ubisoft revenue declines 31.4%. Unity continues mass layoffs with abrupt communications and 5 a.m. emails. And Crysis 4 put on hold as developer Crytek is next studio hit by layoffs. So basically, gaming's still fucked, folks. Like, you'd think we'd be beyond where all of these plus-ups from the pandemic were now taking effect, but we still have studios laying off left and right. I don't remember nearly all these studios having this prior to the pandemic. Am I misremembering the 20 teens?
This may be something very ignorant to say, but I think this has been happening all along. We're just getting news reported on it now.
Well, you also have to figure that the video game industry has ballooned in size. Teams have gotten bigger. Teams may have never been bigger than they are now, and they've had to scale back. I mean, there's more money in games now than there was probably 10 years ago. So I don't know that there has been this many layoffs. I think that you probably are seeing a lot of layoffs because there's more money sunk into projects. Projects are bigger and badder and faster and meaner, and you just have massive teams that sometimes need cuts. I mean, you've seen it from so many different teams and so many different developers and publishers that, it's not just like, it feels like it's the worst it's been. Like the last 2 years feels like it's the worst it's been. And, there's always going to be layoffs, but to the degree that we've had, I don't know, it just feels really bad. And it's not like we didn't have the internet to tell us these things. We had the internet 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's just, maybe it just truly is worse now because there's more money and the whole just industry is inflated. Lots of money thrown in, lots of people on teams, and, when you see downturns or when you change projects, now you've got to get rid of more people.
I think this
also, Ubisoft Ubisoft continues their plunge into mediocrity.
So I think this is just a product of people wanting clickbait headlines.
Is everybody else muted?
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you, Tricky.
Okay. Alex, you can't hear us?
Alex, you cannot hear Tricky?
I could not hear you. I could not hear Tricky, though.
You can hear me now, though?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. As I said before, I think this is just a product of clickbait headline society of. I think this has been going all the time because we've talked to developers before where they would routinely tell us, like, developers would scale down as the project was finishing because they no longer needed them and whatnot. They, you had contractors working on projects that, just weren't around, just weren't needed anymore. I think this is just a way of showing, oh, well, Ubisoft laid off this many people. Well, okay, but that's standard practice. That's what they're not telling us, is that's the standard practice. I'm not saying...
it's not standard practice, though? Putting Crysis on hold, Crysis 4 on hold because you're doing a round of layoffs. That's not standard to delay a game because of that reason.
Granted. But what I'm saying is the whole layoff news stories, I think, is just a product of clickbaits. Obviously, yeah, everybody, did their whole build up during COVID. It was a lot cheaper to hire people. You didn't have a studio, building to run. You didn't have, everybody could work from home and all that other stuff. And now that, everybody's going back to in-person work, it's becoming an issue. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying 100% there is, people reporting on news that always happened, but I think it's definitely made the problem seem worse than it is.
Matt, sir, what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I don't recall the 20 teens being this bad. And I don't know... I feel like we're beyond the elimination of the pandemic plus up. So Ubisoft, I think, is a symptom of the quality of the games that they put out. They're quadruple A Skull and Bones. They're kind of samey Assassin's Creeds. They're not as big as they'd like it to be Star Wars Outlaws. They need to do something different. We've actually got a listener question to kind of discuss this. The layoffs, Unity, we kind of saw what happened last year when they made some very poor choices with business decisions that some developers are still gun shy to use their service. So I think they're reaping what they sowed.
Was that the, just reflect my memory, that was when they were charging developers exorbitant fees and stuff like that?
They were changing the model that would have resulted in developers putting out a lot more money, yes. And then they reversed that course, but I just don't think that was enough to bring back the people that they burned. And then Crytek, to me, that's just sad. Unfortunately, Crytek hasn't, I don't remember any games that they put out recently. Crysis 1, awesome. Crysis 2, meh. Crysis 3, great. Crysis 4, this many years later? Kind of like that Dead Space 4 thing. Like, hey, maybe don't go back to that well. Maybe do something different. Maybe something new. I don't know. It's sad to hear, but not to dwell on this for too much. It was just one of those, damn, three bad articles in 1 week.
Honestly, if I could diagnose Ubisoft, I think that's a culture leadership issue right there, and they clearly need new leadership. I think Yves Guillemot has done a lot for that company, but it's clear that maybe his tenure needs to end.
I don't think he's the problem, honestly.
I think he's made a culture that's made the problem. Fucking Beyond Good and Evil 2. How many years now?
Yeah. Just because you made the statement that what Crytek made. Since 2013, they came out
The Hunt.
When they came out with Crysis 3, they came out with Warface, Rise, Son of Rome, which was a complete failure when that launched on the Xbox One. The collectibles, The Climb, Robinson, The Journey, Hunt Showdown, Crysis Remastered, The Climb 2, Crysis 2 Remastered, Crysis 3 Remastered, and those were all 3 years ago, and now Crysis 4 is on hold.
So I think Hunt the Showdown is a live service game with microtransactions, so I think they're kind of counting on that to carry them through.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Yeah, because the Climb 2 was on Oculus, so everything since the Hunt Showdown has been remasters.
Mm. Well, enough of sad gaming news corner. Let's go to listener questions.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
You guys didn't hear that sound, did you?
I'm gonna guess the sound went and
If I mute myself on Skype, you guys can't hear the sound effects.
that is accurate. One question coming from Roberto, and this goes back to the Ubisoft. Do you think Ubisoft can survive even if AC Shadows sells successfully? And if Ubisoft and Warner Brothers collapse, would Microsoft being a third-party publisher be a good thing? I'm just going to kick us off and say, I think Ubisoft's not going to survive, even if Assassin's Creed sells well. I just think they put way too much into the shallow baskets they had. Tricky?
So you think that Ubisoft is doomed no matter what they do at this point?
Yeah.
Wow. So I think Ubisoft can survive. I think they just gotta put out the things that people want. You know, one thing is like, how the hell are they not making a Immortals Phoenix Rising 2? Like, everybody loved that game, and then you choose not to do that game. As far as the second part of this question, if Ubisoft and Warner Brothers collapse, would Microsoft being a third-party publisher be a good thing? I don't necessarily understand that part of it. Like, you think that Ubisoft or Warner Brothers needs Microsoft to publish their games? I don't really know what he's asking there. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me.
So basically, if they were to go under, would it be easier for Microsoft to move into the third-party publisher and kind of take up the space that would leave?
I don't know.
I think it'd be more likely that Microsoft would buy the IPs that they own.
What about Sony buying them? What about Sony buying them up? Think Sony being interested in buying Ubisoft?
Sony's already spent enough money buying failures.
Well, I mean, so is Microsoft. But we're not going to go there.
Microsoft has money to burn.
Hey, Double Fine is doing just fine. All right, they're doing just great.
Double Fine notwithstanding.
What about Bethesda?
I think that Ubisoft can continue to limp along, but I just feel like there is a general disinterest in everything they do. Like, maybe Shadows came too little too late. And I think Assassin's Creed at one time was exciting and great. These days, though, I don't know. I haven't seen the sales. Maybe they still do a lot in sales, but it feels like they've had to tinker with the formula too much recently. You know, going from Valhalla to Mirage, like, it seems like there's an issue there that they're trying to fix. And I think the overall issue is that Assassin's Creed is kind of done. Like, it's played out. I don't know that there's really anywhere you could take that series. You know, even if Shadows is successful, like, where do you take it next to make it more successful? I kind of just feel like, and here, like, I bought the original Assassin's Creed when it first came out. Like, I was all down for the series. You know, played 2, played Brotherhood. I think that a lot of what they do is just kind of played out, and people don't want to buy their stuff anymore. I think people get more of their jollies out of just kicking Ubisoft while they're down, shitting on Ubisoft.
Do you know how many studios Ubisoft owns? I just counted.
No, I don't know how many.
48.
That's a lot. Well, how many? Like, there's got to be, because, like, what was it? Ubisoft Sofia was the company that made, the studio that made, I think, Rogue. And, you know, I don't know, how often do I get on here and shit on a game? Not all that often. And I'm just on here talking about Rogue and how much I'm just over the Assassin's Creed series. Like, what exciting things are they putting out? Like, a Star Wars game, like a Bounty Hunter Star Wars game is, like, missed expectations. Like, what, like, I'm not saying you guys didn't enjoy it, but what do they have that coming out that's exciting? Does anyone care about Prince of Persia anymore? Do people still want to play Assassin's Creed?
There are some people who some people are pissed that they undersold the latest Prince of Persia.
Don't get me wrong, some people probably are, but is that some people enough to move a needle?
Well, obviously not.
So I'm not trying to insult those people. Like, I'm not saying that if you like that game series or enjoy this game series, that you're wrong in any way. But just speaking from my point of view, it just doesn't seem like Ubisoft is doing anything that people really want to get behind at this point.
Well,
Like Matt, could you explain you put their eggs in their baskets, or did your comment made earlier, expound upon that a little bit, like what you think they've done wrong that has put them in this position where you think they're basically just dead in the water?
So the formula for Assassin's Creed has not evolved enough to the fact that they actually had to go back to old school formula with Mirage to get back some of those people who liked the original and didn't like the direction that the rest of the sequels took. Star Wars has a Star Wars feel. I like the game, but I could see where people are put off because it's more of just the same Ubisoft formula. I loved Far Cry 3. Far Cry Blood Dragon was awesome in how it was different from Far Cry 3. Far Cry 4, good. Far Cry 5, good. Far Cry 6, they took it in such a wild direction that I was like, all right, this is not, I didn't care for it. Assassin's Creed has been very much the same year after year. They've sunk so much money into Beyond Good and Evil 2, a game that I fully think will not come out in the next decade if it comes out at all. Trials was a decent series, but they couldn't ever seem to gain the massive popularity that it needed. I really can't think of other things that they've been putting out that have garnered attention. It's the Xbox syndrome. It's like everything that they put out is so-so. So they're big names. Their Assassin's Creed, their Star Wars license, their Far Cries just have not been hitting the mark recently. And they need to diversify into other smaller things, Obviously, like we said, the new Prince of Persia didn't do what they wanted, but enough people liked it. I think that they could have capitalized on a different game for the series to go. I just don't know if people want Ubisoft games anymore.
Well, I just Googled Ubisoft games that are coming out. We got Shadows that comes out in March. Heroes of Might and Magic, Olden Era. That's a PC game. Coming out sometime mid-2025, early access, full release to be determined. Anno 117, Pax Romania. Assassin's Creed Jade coming out for mobile this year. The Division Resurgence coming out for mobile this year or maybe next year. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six mobile also coming out either this year or next year. Prince of Persia Sands of Remake next year. And then a whole bunch of to be determines Assassin's Creed Codename Hex, Assassin's Creed Codename Invictus, Untitled Assassin's Creed mobile game, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Untitled Rayman game, Tom Clancy's The Division 3, and Splinter Cell Remake. And all those are to be determined.
See, and I feel out of those, Division 3 is probably their most
profitable
chance of success.
Yeah, but you also notice I didn't mention Far Cry. I didn't mention Just Dance. Those are, Dex says, so basically flooding the market with shit.
Dex has a point.
Same old story, same old song and dance, as Aerosmith once sang. I guess the worst thing about Ubisoft is I don't hate them. I don't like them. I don't hate them. I just don't care about them. That's really complete apathy towards them is kind of what keeps me from supporting them in any possible way. I don't give a shit about Shadows. If anything, playing these Assassin's Creed games is what is basically told me, okay, you probably don't need to play any more Assassin's Creed games. I liked Origins because it was in Egypt. Let's call it what it is. Gameplay was fine, but the lore and the myth and the legend of ancient Egypt is what made me want to play that game. It wasn't necessarily the Assassin's Creed formula.
But did you like the gameplay? Is the point? Is the question?
It was fine.
So
it was fine.
so for you, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but just basically from what I'm understanding, is the game played fine, but what attracted you to the game was the Egypt. So the fact that they can take those same mechanics and put it in ancient Greece, that doesn't appeal to you because the background story doesn't appeal to you.
Exactly. And mechanically, like I said, Syndicate and Rogue were fine. They were fine games. But I have issues with the way that they are developing those games. And even Origins had some of that. So, again, if the setting changes, I don't want to play it.
Which, comes to the fact that I'm interested in AC Shadows, but I may have been more interested in it 6-7 years ago before Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, yeah, Ghost of Yote. Like, am I going to really sit and invest in an Assassin's Creed game in Shadows when Ghost of Yote is going to come out and I know Sucker Punch is going to knock that out of the park? Sorry, no.
And Dex, sorry, go ahead, Alex, and then I'll...
I was going to say, just peddle your shit somewhere else, Ubisoft, because I'm not buying it here.
So, then the next issue is like Dex said, it sucks that he loves Ubisoft, but arguably Rainbow Six is their biggest cash cow right now, keeping them afloat, which now you have the issue of, I think they announced Rainbow Six Siege X or 10 or whatever it is, so they're going along with that. Yeah, so I don't know. It's definitely a thing that Ubisoft is I think on their last legs before a buyout.
Remember, there was that story where they were trying to. Yves Guillemot was one of the people trying to take it private.
Yeah, well,
right. They were trying to buy back the company and take it private.
Yeah, but they didn't want to give up power. That was the thing. And I think anybody coming in. Yeah. V in chat goes Beyond Good and Evil too. Like I said, I don't think you're seeing that game in a decade, much less if it comes out at all. All right. Tricky has to step away for a while, but we will continue on with the rest of the show. If he can get back, great. If not, it's been a good show with Tricky. And we're going on to the topic of the week, which last week, Sony had a state of play, and we're going to kind of cover the things that were announced, mostly what we're interested in. But to that point, there were some people who were saying that this was not a good state of play. Others saying that it was fine. Other people saying it was great. Alex, I know you have a habit. You really don't watch too many of them, but did you see the things that were in there?
I did not. So I apologize for not doing my homework before the show, but a coworker of mine, she had mentioned something about it. I was like, was there really anything there that was that exciting? She's like, no, not really. So I kind of had forgotten about it and just didn't go back and look. So anything that's announced here is news to me. Okay.
So I took the article from Polygon. Nicole Carpenter's the author, but we're just going to cover the things that were announced. The first and foremost up front was Monster Hunter Wilds had their launch trailer, which also gave us a look into the new, they tend to do title updates after release, and we got announcement of the first monster they're adding in after the game has launched, and that is Mitsuzune, a water-based Leviathan dragon that shoots bubbles. I know it doesn't sound entirely threatening, but trust me, you haven't fought the monster yet. The next thing I think is cool is a new Shinobi game called Art of Vengeance. It's got a very stylized art style. I remember Shinobi being on... No, was that Shinobi or Strider on the PlayStation 2? Do you remember, Alex?
I believe that was... It might have been both of them. I think Strider was definitely, but it may have been... See, I think of Shinobi, and I think of Genesis and Game Gear.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of was the one where you had a sword that ate away at your life, and you had to kill things, and then you got like a very stylized death screen where you you do the ninja slice, and then you put your sword away, and everything kind of slices apart on screen. I think that was Shinobi, because Strider there was a 2D version on the PlayStation 4 that came out.
Seeing if Shinobi... So there was a Shinobi game on the PS2, yes.
Okay, then that was the one I was thinking of. So a new Shinobi game coming out, should be fun. Dex said he remembers Shinobi on the Mega Drive. Yes, that was a Mega Drive game back in the day. Or Genesis for us for us North American people. Sonic Racing Crossworlds.
Yay.
Yeah.
More Sonic bullshit. Like,
I mean, I'll say the same thing I say to PlayStation. Just stop. No Diddy Kong Racing, no Sonic Racing. Yes, Alex, I said it.
well, Diddy Kong Racing hasn't been a thing for years now, but
Crash Team Race. That's right.
Sega doesn't have the like mascot character base that like Nintendo does. So like, you can't put Echo the fucking Dolphin in like a car and have Echo the Dolphin driving around. Just like,
actually, if they did that, I might actually buy the game.
oh yeah, I would play like as like in the original Mario Party when everyone always picked Yoshi. Like I would always pick Echo the Dolphin, but like, you know, the characters from like Crazy Taxi and like Samba de Amiga and like Space Channel 5, like I don't want to fucking race as those people. And just yeah.
Next one is Digimon Storytime Stranger. Looks like another like a graphic interactive novel. Yay, Digimon, digital monsters.
Digimon are the champions.
Digimon are the champions.
I honestly didn't know Digimon was still a thing.
It definitely is.
Dex says Echo the Dolphin in a golf cart would rock.
Yes, definitely.
Or Echo the Dolphin in like a submarine or like a hovercraft.
Next one, I didn't really watch the video. A game called Lost Soul Aside. I don't know what that is.
All right, just a side note. Echo the Dolphin, if he's got to put in a cart, his superpower's got to be he's using his Sonic to knock somebody off the track.
I told Alex I would play a kart racing game with Echo as a driver. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
What the fuck was this?
So,
come on.
Ryogato Studios is making like a Dragon spin-offs. This is the next one where they had Like a Dragon Ishii and something else. But there's a character in Like a Dragon Yakuza, whatever it's called, Majima. Very eccentric character. So now they're making him a pirate, which is fucking hilarious. And I saw a meme that somebody said, I'm looking forward to a pirate game, you know, because we've gotten shit pirate games over the past couple of years, and who knew it would be a Yakuza game. So, yeah.
Next one's gonna make Alex happy.
Speaking of Yakuza, Dave the Diver is getting DLC called Ichiban's Holiday, which Ichiban is the main protagonist from Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. He's the new protagonist of the Yakuza Like a Dragon series. And this is going to focus on him coming to the Dave's Little Island shop, which I think will be fun.
There have been two, like when you do the fish farm in Dave the Diver, there have been 2 pools that have been empty.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm thinking that finally we now know at least what one of those pools is going to be taken up of. Because if you never played Dave the Diver, there's like 9 or 12? I can't remember exactly how many, but there's these little square pools of water which grow fish from the different regions of the game.
The bottom right too.
Yeah, and the bottom right 2 have never had anything in them. You couldn't unlock them. You couldn't do anything. I've beaten the game completely. I've got all the fish. I've beaten the DLCs previously. So I guess this is going to at least give us an answer to one of those, which I'm excited to see.
I would hope. You did play Dave the Diver, right? Tricky?
Me? No, you know I did.
Oh, yes.
I played
You
it for
asked
about
that ludicrous question to me.
I played it for about 20 minutes and gave up.
Okay, so your
Swear to
opinion is
God.
null and void.
Swear to God.
It just wasn't my jam. I didn't like the game.
Preserves.
I listen.
Damn.
Jeff Hanna gave a bad recommendation. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, you're a real piece of trash.
But I like Jeff. I just don't like his game choices, and I certainly don't like his pizza choices.
Just because Jeff didn't tell you there were spider crabs in that game.
That's just another reason for me to not play the game.
All right. WWE 2K5 coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 on March 14th.
2K25.
Whatever, I don't care.
But the announcement was not the game. The announcement is they have a social hub now up to 50 people, and else it's called The Island.
Why do I care about that in my wrestling game?
Because they're basically saying you're going to be able to walk around the island of relevancy.
No thanks.
Dex is putting his ones up in the chat.
Yeah, I'm saying that. All right. Borderlands 4 gave a new trailer with a launch date of September 22nd. I've said time and time again, the new Vault Hunters do not interest me at all. Dex says intergender matches and all. Interesting. Okay.
Matt, we have something in common because I haven't cared about Borderlands since the first game.
Well, no, I loved 1, loved 2, 3 was all right. Pre-sequel sucked. Tiny Tina's Wonderland was fun. 4, it looks like they're kind of taking in a more serious, darker tone, and I'm like, no, that's not what Borderlands is. But maybe they're just hiding something. I don't know. I'm not interested.
You didn't even mention the best Borderlands game.
Tales from the Borderlands?
Tales from the Borderlands.
That definitely had a good fit in the universe.
How was New Tales from the Borderlands? Did anybody play that?
I did not play that.
I mean, Ashley enjoyed it. I never played it though.
I haven't. I just haven't really given it a shot.
Probably be some easy trophies. Just saying.
Another trailer for Split Fiction, that Jose Fares game, the maker of No Way Out and what the hell was that game? It Takes Two.
Takes Two.
So
I was good.
No, I'm interested in this one. What about you, Trick?
I was interested until I saw this trailer, and then I was like, maybe not. I don't know what about the trailer. It wasn't a bad trailer. Something about the trailer just made me like, I'm not as hyped to play this anymore.
Okay. Alex?
Ashley's brought this game up before. I think it's listed on the PlayStation Plus, on the PlayStation Network already, and she had seen some coverage of it, and I think that she is probably going to want to play. I mean, we could always change our minds, but I think she's pointed out something she wants to play together, because it's kind of hard to find things that aren't like, the same Lego games to play together. So the fact that we liked It Takes Two, who knows, maybe this is the next game that we play cooperatively.
It's also worth noting, just want to point out, they did announce for the Borderlands 4 that there was going to be a state of play for directly on Borderlands 4 coming later. So if you are interested in the game, just look forward to that state of play coming up where they solely focus on that game.
Directive 8020, which is the story of the brave astronauts of the Cassiopeia who embark on a deadly mission to save humanity, but their ship is infected by an alien life form that perfectly imitates its prey. It's basically another Thing game. I
was thinking Dead Space.
Well, no, Dead Space doesn't imitate people. This is more of a Thing game where I think it's going to be deductive reasoning to figure out who is the alien.
So Dead Space and it's Dead Space cross Among Us.
Yeah, again, I should be noted this is a Dark Pictures game, so we're finally getting into the next series of Dark Pictures games, which I think is fun.
Okay, I thought the same thing, but do you think it's weird that they didn't say it's a Dark Pictures anthology game? Because that was the section of 8 games.
Yeah, I don't know if it's part of their actual anthology or if it's just another spin-off, kind of like what they did with The Quarry.
Fair enough.
Alex, you doing this one?
I haven't done any of the Dark Pictures games. I'd love to Until Dawn, but after that, I just haven't really played anything Supermassive's put out. So I think it feels like one of those ones I want to go back and play some of the other ones before I do this one. But again, they have the fucking thing where play with the person, and it's just like...
I think they're all on PlayStation Plus Premium. So you might be... I own
Man of Medan, so if I was going to play one, I'd play that one first.
Well, that's the first one, but I think the other 3 are on PlayStation Plus, and I believe all of them have a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5 versions.
Next game, I think we could all skip over. It's a new Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic.
Sweet Mama D would kill me if I skipped over this game.
Okay, well, sorry. Nice knowing you. The Midnight Walk, which was a weird little fantasy adventure game, I could say. very stylized. Looks interesting.
That's not the claymation game, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
And it's releasing on May 8th.
That looks horrible.
If you say so.
This sucks.
It's horrible.
This sucks having to mute myself. Unmute myself.
Clay Fighter. I haven't been into Clay since Clay Fighter
Clay
63
Fighter.
and a third. Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
Darwin's Paradox. Help Darwin the octopus escape a food factory and get back to the... This has remnants of Octodad. I don't know. Warriors Abyss, which dropped on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 the day of the State of Play. It looks like it's a Warriors game with some interesting elements. I don't know.
With Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Like, what a bland fucking name. Warriors Abyss. What? We were talking about Dynasty Warriors, right? That shit.
Yeah, that's what
shit being the operative word because those games are fucking terrible.
Wow, that's very loud. Yeah, I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of it. Next up, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, releasing on May 23rd with higher resolution graphics and modernized controls. I know a certain Joe P is interested in that.
Mr. Priestley.
Yeah.
Capcom don't miss.
Onimusha, Way of the Sword, got its first trailer and release window 2026, so we are waiting a while for the new Onimusha game. I'll be there when it comes out.
Well, you'll have the number 2 remake to keep you company before then, right?
That is accurate, yes.
Yeah.
Was the first game remade?
Yeah, they had that. I don't know if it was remade. It was re-released.
Okay, fair enough.
Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I don't know which one it is. Remake coming 2000 from the 2000. God, this is the worst way that they wrote this. Releasing on April 28th, which was the worst kept secret because everybody knew it was coming out from all the leaks.
Stop showing us the game. Just release the damn thing. We already know what we're getting. Just stop showing it. Just give us the release date and move on.
Hell is Us, will be released on September 4th, tackling a bleak topic: the demons known as humankind. Ooh, not interested.
All right, thanks there, M. Night Shyamalan.
What a twist! Lies of P is getting a prequel called Overture.
I thought that game failed.
No, it actually did pretty well.
I've always been curious about that game, just never played it because obviously that style of gameplay kind of irks the shit out of me when I played Bloodborne, but just the idea of like translating Pinocchio into this other form and, you know, this taking this very difficult yet popular game style and adapting Pinocchio to that just kind of seemed like a really cool idea.
Yeah, and the people who played it loved it.
I could have sworn I thought it failed. Like, there was a lot of people saying they didn't like it.
No.
Well,
enough people like it to do something.
If you talk to 5 people about it, Tricky, it's not necessarily everybody who played it.
9 out of 10 dentists. Pixel Junk announced Dreams of Another, a game that turns third-person shooter on its head to build rather than destroy. Again, M. Night Shyamalan, what a twist.
Don't care.
Wait.
Don't care.
None of that sounds like that's the Pixel Junk studio, right?
Yeah, you're literally shooting things into existence.
Who knows? Maybe that'd be a cool idea. But I remember when I bought every game they put out, and now it's like,
Hey, did you all want a Days Gone 2?
Yes.
I want Days Gone 1.
Well, too bad Tricky and Alex suck it up because you're getting Days Gone Remaster.
Which I'm actually excited for.
Coming to the PlayStation 5 with, I'm sure, all of the updated controls and things that you've come to know, otherwise known as we've had this on PC for a little while.
Well, it is coming with some new game modes and stuff like that. And it is cool that it's only a $10 upgrade for anybody that owns it on the PS4.
That's the point. It was on the PS4. You don't need to remaster this, for God's sakes.
Honestly,
drum up sales somehow to interest
honestly,
for Days Gone 2.
No, if they ever did a Days Gone 2, the director of the original game, his head would fucking explode. He would be so pissed. They would never do that.
I think, and this is just my conspiracy hat, tinfoil hat theory, they're putting this out to see if people actually give a shit about Days Gone. I think they're using this to gauge interest or whether or not they fucked up and not greenlighting Days Gone 2.
I think that a better So they came out with the original game, which sales of that would give you a good indication of what the interest was. But then they also released it for free on PlayStation Plus, which would also be another really good judge of interest. You put those two together, you kind of have an idea. You don't need to do a remaster.
I don't think it sold well. I think that everybody got upset. You know, everybody enjoyed the game when it came out on Plus, but I don't think it initially sold well. I'm looking it up right now, but
I think it sold admirably.
I'm not gonna say, I'm not saying it sold horribly. I'm just saying it sold 7.32 million copies as of February 2022. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
But again, if you can't take what it sold originally plus the PlayStation Plus downloads and the people who played that, this remaster is not going to tell you anymore. There's not going to be any more interest in this remaster than there was, because people who enjoyed it and who aren't getting a second one are going to be pissed that they're not, like, I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. I didn't really have anything.
I was gonna say if you want to judge like sales, you know, we're saying 7.32 million is not bad. Just for comparison, Star Wars Battlefront sold 8.42 million, Bloodborne sold 7.46 million, and Ratchet and Clank sold 7 million. So if Sony's based it off of sales, Days Gone sold well enough to warrant a sequel. At least in my opinion.
But they were too busy funding Concord. Anyways,
they were too busy dreaming of The Last of Us.
Do you know what the best-selling PlayStation 4 game was?
Grand Theft Auto 5?
Nope.
Are we talking Sony developed and published?
Best-selling PlayStation 4 games, and no, they're not necessarily. Yeah, they're not necessarily Sony games. Just the best-selling game.
Says Concord and mayonnaise.
I'll just read you the top 10 in reverse order. Top 10 best-selling PlayStation 4 game: Ghost of Tsushima. Then it was number 9 was Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 8 was The Last of Us Part 2. 7 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Number 6 was The Last of Us Remastered. Number 5 was Gran Turismo Sport. Number 4 was Minecraft PlayStation 4 Edition. Number 3 was Uncharted 4 Thieves' End. Number 2 was God of War 2018. And number 1 is a game that I know Matt really likes, and Alex will not play.
Okay, just spit it out.
I hate that you guys don't like me to build up suspense. Spider-Man.
Tricky, those were all Sony developed games. You told me they weren't.
Wild Hunt wasn't.
Wild Hunt wasn't.
So wait, you're telling me how are those the best selling PS4 games?
Minecraft definitely wasn't either.
Yeah, but how were those the best selling PS4 games? I guarantee others outsold those.
All right, we've gotten off the topic here. Let's wrap up the rest of the state of play, of which I'm going to skip the last couple here because they all seem like indie stuff that really doesn't matter. But what really matters, Housemarque announced Soros with a cinematic trailer. Noted that the gameplay trailer will come later this year.
Housemarque?
So I have no idea what this is about.
Housemarque?
Housemarque, whatever.
This is basically Returnal 2. That's what it is.
If that's what we want to believe.
I mean, he said that, you know, every time I come back stronger. Wasn't that the basis of Returnal? Die and come back stronger?
To a degree. But see, they're being inventive.
Yeah.
Sony spent their money well.
Hey, I've always said Housemarque is a winner. And if this is any kind of game like Returnal, I'll play that. Or, you know, in general, if it's just Housemarque game, I'll probably end up playing it because they do good work.
Alrighty. With that, we've reached the end of another episode of Trophy Horrors. Let's do our shout-outs. Alex?
I want to give a shout out to the listeners, the fans, the fuel to the fire of the Trophy Horrors, our wonderful community. Oh, excuse me. Thank you all so very much for supporting us. We are on the road to, 666 and beyond. And we're glad that you're here for the ride.
Why do you have to do that? You know that creeps me out.
You talk about landmark shows all the time, Tricky.
That's not a landmark show. That's
Tricky. I think that we've mentioned the number 666 so many times that you're pretty much roped in at this point.
I'm
Whatever
not.
bad juju's going to happen. You got.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not editing that show. I'm not being on that show. I'm not marketing that show. I'm not even doing the freaking social medias for that show. I'm not posting that show. You guys can upload this to the back end. You guys can do the post. If you guys don't, guess what? The episode's not coming out, and I don't give a shit. I'm not having anything to do with that show.
Bullshit. We are not doing extra work because you are superstitious. You will do all of the things you normally do, and if you are scheduled to edit, you will fucking edit.
And Will,
not scheduled to edit. We already covered this.
Will, if when you do the thumbnail, don't even send me the thumbnail. Send it directly to them. Do not send it to me. I do not want anything to do with that episode.
Hey, Will, I need you to make a specific image. Tricky smiling face. And on somehow with the number 666 integrated in there, like whether it's tattooed on his forehead, like on his neck, where he's got like a hat on that says 666, like some way, somehow you gotta
do your damn shout outs.
Yes, my co-host Tricky and Matt, as well as Yield, who was not here tonight. Shout out to last but not least, my awesome and loving girlfriend Ashley. I love you, hun. We are actually celebrating our anniversary tomorrow, so I'm going to get a late start on the edit. But happy early anniversary, hun. I love you, and that is my shout-outs.
All right, Tricky.
I'll give a shout out to Sweet Mama D. Shout out to everybody here, Matt, Alex, everybody in the chat. I see V. I see Dex. I see Channel 3. I see Jurassic Parky. Somebody else was in the chat from Channel 3.
It was Dan's alternate.
Dan, okay. And
did you also say V?
I said V was the first one I said.
All right.
You know, if you were paying attention instead of trying to troll me with 666, you would have heard.
Oh my God, Trick, you just said it.
It just creeps me. You know what? Fuck everybody. I'm not being on that episode. I might just boycott the show until we get to 670.
You played yourself.
Matt, the Cornelli takeover is full effect until episode 670. I will not be returning until that episode.
Success.
Matt, what we should do is just make every episode 666.
666 part 1, 666 part 2, 666
Hey, listen, with my audio issues, it might be better if I'm not on the show. Just saying.
Well, you'll have a better computer by then. You good, sir?
Yes.
All right. Shout out to you, gents, for recording tonight. Especially shout out to Tricky and I, who are braving the crazy weather that is going on currently. Thankfully, the power has held up. Alex in chat deck says happy anniversary, and I wish and extend a happy anniversary to you and the missus as well.
Thank you, Dex. Thank you, Matt.
Happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody, since this show's coming out well after. Hopefully you had some fun. And shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure to go to channel3.gg to gamify your social media and earn some XP, play some mini games. It's a fun time. And finally, thank you, Will, for all of your contributions to the show. And finally, shout out to my wife, E. Thank you for everything you do. And with that, Ricky.
Happy trophy hunting.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.